Wait. I've gotta go. So today I'm going to be talking about avoidance, and I didn't really want to just make it all about OCD, so throughout this video I'm going to make several parallels to my own life outside of talking about OCD, compulsive avoidant behaviors that I think are no different than what people with HOCD do when they're trying to avoid certain feelings cropping up. So we're going to get into that today. I asked the Facebook group to give me some things that they avoid, so I'll be reading some of those off. I want to speak for myself. I want to mention that avoidance is something both in the HOCD realm and in my real life that has, I say real because HOCD is a delusion, has really held me back. I'll give you one example to start us off. I have always avoided checking my grades for a while, especially I had this class that was super difficult. I didn't want to take it. I should have dropped out of it, but I could not do that, so I would avoid checking my grades for that class, especially towards the end of the semester, because I knew things were going to be set in stone, and it was terrifying. Like, the whole class, it was just a generic law enforcement class, but it was just hard. you know, it was a lot. So just things like that. I know another example I can think off the top of my head that I'm going through right now is you apply for jobs and some people may get back to you. I like to always contact the hiring manager and stuff right away and say, hey, you better look at my application. I just submitted it and da da da. And when they get back to me, I don't want to check my email. I don't want to check that. I don't want to. You see so many, like, you're not selected, or fortunately we don't have any positions available for you. You see so much of that I just don't want to check my email anymore. I just really don't want to do it. So that's another thing I avoid a lot. And doing simple mundane tasks, deep cleaning something, like the other day we had to clean the garage. I was putting off that for a while, cleaning the porch, stuff like that you don't think of day to day. And then back to the OCD part. What sort of avoidant behaviors do people with HOCD do? People with any type of theme will always avoid feeling something that will make them feel like they are what they fear, if that even made sense. So one of the comments was this was a man saying this, trying not to look at men when you're out and about or on the street for fear of, like, you finding them attractive. And of course, when I say this gets in the way of day-to-day life, it does, because how are you not supposed to notice men around you? Men are everywhere. Women are everywhere, right? So how do we not notice people, and especially people that take care of themselves and that are conventionally attractive? How do you not notice that? Well, you can't, and it's impossible, but people, myself included, have really tried to avoid that, and you just can't. Another one that somebody commented, fear of hanging out with. This was a person who I believe in the HOCD support group was gay herself, and she has HOCD as well, so she fears that she's straight, and what if she hangs out with a guy? And she fears that she may like him. That is just as terrifying as what the man said about not wanting to look at other men on the street. So, that's just normal day-to-day life. You're going to hang out with people of the opposite sex. You're going to hang out with people of the same sex. And you might even, this brings me to the other comment. This is actually not on my recent post, but a while ago, hanging out with maybe your gay friends. Maybe you have gay or straight friends that you just being around them reminds you of HOCD and all of your fears, and you wonder, okay, does me hanging out with this person mean something? No, it doesn't. But what if it does? Panic ensues. So silly things like that get you caught up. Also, another thing, this is where we get to the personal thing. I really like some shows that feature, gay characters, or in some other people's case, I think this one girl brought up, like, a lot of straight romantic movies. Every Hallmark movie. She's avoiding watching that because what if she wants to fall in love with a man? And then I have always avoided like gay media and gay shows. I mean, that was just too, it was just too much to have that going on in your mind all the time. And then now you're seeing it in the whole, and everywhere on, on social media, on TV. So it's hard to have that also surrounding you and not just an internal obsession. And that, I think that's why the urge to avoid comes up, is because our fears are really everywhere and you can avoid them, but a compulsion is to try to avoid. And of course it never works. So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna say that avoiding, it never leads you anywhere. To me, it's just you're giving OCD more power. You're telling it, yeah, I'm really choosing to not live my life because me avoiding these things, I'm just kind of, to me, avoidance is just getting you sort of floating in water. You're not above water, you know what I mean? You're sort of drowning still, but you're treading water. It's avoiding something with OCD makes you feel like you are somehow escaping danger. Back to that drowning analogy, you feel like your head's above water, but it's really not. You're just in there treading water and you're still suffering. So does it really help? No, you're not really escaping the danger. You're just delaying it. You're delaying those feelings and whatever urges you might have. It's definitely not good in the long run at all. So how do we stop avoidance? Well, stopping avoidance would probably be assessing, I would say, your top avoidant behaviors. So let's say your HOCD is attaching to one friend and you've been avoiding hanging out with that one friend for a while now. I would say go ahead, if that's like your top avoidant behavior, or your most frequent, I should say, I would say go hang out with that friend, go make plans. And then another one, I'm trying to think of another one somebody said. Take me 50 years to think about it. I just remembered somebody said, oh, whoa, what is this? Somebody said stupid, I feel like I'm too close. Stupid, sexual jokes with your friends. You could be joking about something and they could reference to you, maybe being gay. You know what I mean? And that is, triggering for people with HOCD. And that, something as silly as that, will send them into a spiral. So they avoid hanging out with those friends who make those jokes, which doesn't even make any sense because that could be an exposure and you could use that to your advantage, which is the whole point of this, is to just turn it around and go towards that. But avoidance really does get into the way. Like I said, in a non-OCD sense, which I feel helps bring how dangerous avoiding things that you don't want to feel, it brings that to light. I have missed so many opportunities because I was avoiding something. Like I was avoiding the application process to, let's say I wanted to, I don't know, apply for a scholarship or something. And I'm like, oh my God, that's a huge essay about a topic that I feel afraid to write about. So I'm just gonna hold off. Guess what? The deadline has passed and that opportunity is long gone. And I think when we avoid certain people, we avoid certain media. With HOCD, all we're doing is postponing our healing, and the opportunity to heal just keeps slipping and slipping away. And unlike the opportunities that we get in our day-to-day life, the opportunity to heal will always be there, and that is the silver lining with HOCD, is that, yeah, you can avoid how many times, 1,000 times, but the opportunity to heal will always be there. That's the good thing about it, but don't prolong it any further because you're extending the suffering. So yeah, that's what I wanted to sort of shed some light on today. I hope that made some of you think about some of your compulsive behaviors. And I will see you in the next one.